everybody. I just want to share with you today, if you have ever wanted to start Bible journaling, but you really don't know how to choose a Bible, then this is for you. Now, if you totally disagree with writing in a Bible, then I would suggest that you see the other video that I did that I will link in the description for you or at the end of this video, because there are other alternatives rather than journaling in your Bible. So I'm going to just get started with some of the options that you have. So overall, in general, you can choose a few different versions of journaling Bible. So this one is a lined note-taking Bible. It does not have any illustrations in it whatsoever. It is simply for note-taking. However, you can do artwork in this Bible just like any other Bible. Okay, so that's your note-taking Bible. But then you also have coloring Bibles. So these, sorry for the shadows, yeah. So this Bible, for example, has illustrations on it. This one also has illustrations in it, okay? And so these are also options if you are not comfortable with doing your own artwork. And then the third type is this sort of illustrated. So it's an illustrated Bible. This is already done in here, so you would call that illustrated. It is pre-illustrated, okay? But you can also, just like in either of these two Bibles, there is plenty of room to do your own journaling in here as well, whether that's art journaling or note-taking. So this is one thing to consider. Do you want an illustrated Bible? Do you want a coloring Bible with pre-printed illustrations, or do you want a note-taking Bible? Okay, so that is the first thing to consider when you are choosing a Bible. Secondly, is very simple. Do you want a single column Bible or a double column Bible? Now, all of my journaling Bibles, I always choose a single column Bible. That's just my own preference. As an example of a double column, this is what you would consider double column. This is not a journaling Bible, but they make them so that there are two columns in here. Okay, so that's another choice. Do you want a single or double column Bible? The other thing is, do you want a whole Bible or do you want individual books? Because they do create these individual books. This one's Ephesians. And there, if you go to christianbook.com, they have several options for you for journaling, and it's got the whole series of books of the Bible, but they're all individually printed. Okay, so that's another option. Do you want single books or whole books? Okay, and then the other options, and there's quite a few, but do you want an English Standard Version? Do you want a New International Version? Do you want a King James Version? So there are several different translations. For example, I just went on christianbook.com. This isn't the only resource. It's not the only place to find things, but for example, they have English Standard Version, New International Version, King James, New King James. They have the New American Standard Bible. They have a New Living Translation. They have a Christian Standard Bible, NRSV, I don't know what that stands for. They have a Message, and they have a Spanish Bible. Okay, so that is what is in that particular website, but you can find others as well. So this one is, I don't remember what this one is off the top of my head. This one is a New Living Translation. Okay, so just a note about translations in general is that there's kind of the spectrum of Bibles. So you have Bibles that are word for word. That would be like your King James, or your ESV is lines up more word for word. It's more exact to the Hebrew and the Greek. Okay, you have kind of middle of the road ones like the Christian Standard Bible or the New International Version. They're less word for word, but they're more easily understood. They're easier to read. Okay, and then you also have on the other end paraphrased Bibles, so like a New Living Translation or a Message Bible. They're just written so that they're easier to read. So for example, I remember when my kids were in youth group, they got a Message Bible because it's written in a way that they can understand what it's saying. As a starter Bible, that's great. You can always work your way up into a more word for word version. I remember teaching a couple years ago, and there was a woman who'd only had King James Bibles in her life, and I gave her one that is, I don't know if it was an ESV or an NLT or whatever it was, but she finally was like, wow, I can actually understand what this Bible is saying. So I actually like to look in different versions because you get different nuances of words when you are reading different versions. If you're having a hard time understanding something in a word for word Bible, go read it in a different version that is easier to understand, and then you can be like, okay, and that I get, and then you can go back to the word for word and it makes more sense to you. So yeah, I will put a link to a website. Now, I'm not saying the website is absolutely accurate on it, but it will help you understand where inline different translations are running. So that, I think, is it. So you have, what kind of margins do you want in your Bible? You have whether you want a single column or double column. You have whether you want to do a whole Bible or just individual books, and then you have to pick a version. So that's kind of how you go about finding a book to journal in. Of course, you could always journal in just a Bible. This one, like this one, it doesn't have any it doesn't have any journaling columns on the side for you to do that. What I would do with this is I would cut pages to size and I would just kind of tack them in between. So that is how I would journal in this Bible. So you can use one that you already have. You can get a new one. It's really up to you. And I just wanted to give you a little information about how to choose the book. So thanks so much for sticking with me, and I really appreciate your support, and have a great day. Thanks.